Hello, I wanted to talk to you about Chapter 10 really quick. This is your communicating in and leading in teams. This chapter is going to be extremely important as you and your team members begin to develop your relationship amongst one another. The first thing that this chapter talks about is are dealing with the dysfunctions of a team. And you can see that your team needs to have a sense of cohesiveness in order to avoid absence of trust, fear of conflict, lack of commitment, avoidance of accountability, and inattention to results. So you want to make sure that you avoid these dysfunctions. Another thing is that it talks about the benefits of interpersonal attraction and collective endeavors when you work in a team. Further, in this chapter, it talks about the different group roles. So the task roles, the individualistic roles, and the socio-emotional roles as well. So in this chapter, you're going to be reading about group member relations, the different hierarchies, the different attraction relations, and then the communication networks that you're going to deal with. Hopefully your teams will be cohesive and everything will go smoothly as you all participate in this team project. In your team meetings, you might develop some different stages. Typically, groups have a forming stage, a storming stage, a norming stage, a performing stage, and then an adjourning section. So you'll be going through these different aspects of group development. There are some effects of group cohesion that this chapter talks about regarding costs and benefits. You can also look at this as pros and cons as well, but it allows your team to be cohesive in general, which is going to make decisions become more concrete and the team work together as one instead of separate compartmentalized areas. Also, when you think about being in a group, there are some influences they have to be aware of. The different influences deal with interpersonal, informational, and normative aspects. So think about that when you're working with your team, and hopefully this will resonate with you based on what you read in the chapter. And then when you think about group performance and how your team is doing, you can always improve when you look at the member's personal stake in the outcome, when you set high objectives and clear and realistic goals, as well as making sure that your team has some sense of unity and productive norms. So these different things are going to help you as you move through the stages of decision making, when you go through the aspects of orientation, discussion, decision, and implementation. You may, as you work in your group, deal with some conflict. Conflict is normal in groups. There could be personal conflict, substantive conflict, and procedural conflict. But in general, when you think about the team and you look at the different areas that talk about dealing in groups in the chapter, hopefully your team can avoid these different types of conflict in some sense of the word. But when you're dealing with conflict in general, as you can see, there are 5 different styles of conflict. There's the conflict of competition, collaboration, compromise, avoidance, and accommodation. And as you've read, or as you will read, and you see, collaboration is where you want to go. If you take a look at this chart here, you can see with the concern for self and the concern for others, collaboration is where you want to be when you're dealing with conflict. So finally, when you think about team leadership, think about how your team makes decisions and how your team makes actions. So make sure that you're aware of these things. Take a look at this chapter. It's really going to help you as you start moving forward working in your team. I hope that, also in this chapter, you'll notice that this chapter has some leadership blogs or some areas that deal with leadership, which is the next area, and how you demonstrate leadership skills and how you can commit to leadership skills that you're currently not using that you would like to improve upon. So take a look at that, and I hope that you enjoy this chapter on team development. Take care.